In this lesson we're going to look at something called BODMAS. Now BODMAS tells us the order of operations in mathematics, i.e. what to do first if you're faced with a times and an add, or a takeaway and a divide in the same sum. Also sums involving brackets and powers. Now calculators follow this, and we must do the same when we're doing written work in our jotters. So we can see that before anything else you do any bracket calculations. O stands for order, which is really powers or indices. D's divide, M's multiply, A's add, and S is subtract. So let's look at what this means. We have to circle the operation that you do first in each case or each calculation. So looking at this first calculation here, I'll just get a wee oval. We would circle the 8 divided by the 2. So that's what you do before the add, because divide comes before add in the word BODMAS. It's handy to write this down next to the calculations you're doing. So in this sense what we would do 3 plus 4, and that would give you 7. A common mistake is for people to do the 3 add the 8 first, and get 11 and then divide that by 2. On the second one here, we would do the 5 times 3 first and get 15. So it would really be 9 take away 15 to get your answer to that. On the third one, we would do the divide first. So 16 divided by 2, and that would give you 8. And then you take away 5 from the 8. And in the last one here, you would do the brackets first because B comes at the start of BODMAS. So that would make 7, and then you would do 14 divided by 7. That would get 2. Right, so let's look at some more complicated examples. We'll look at part A first here. So let's work out each of the following, showing each step of working. So when I'm doing BODMAS calculations like this, which is quite complex, there's a lot of different things, I do one calculation at a time. So the first thing I'm going to spot here is there's a power. There's no brackets. I'm just going to move along, so there's no brackets, but there's a power, so I would do that next. Now I rewrite the 2 underneath. I don't do 4 squared and write the answer first. That's what some people do by mistake and get all mixed up. Write the 2 first, then the 16, 4 times 4. And then just rewrite the rest of the line, times 3, take away 1. The next stage is to look for a divide or a multiply, and we can see this bit's a multiply, so this is what we're going to do next. We're going to leave the 2 alone, we're going to leave the take away 1 alone, and we're going to do 16 times 3. So that's 30 plus 18, that's 48. Now lastly, you can see there's an add and a subtract. When you see add and subtract together, there is no order. I know add comes before subtract here, but you just follow it from left to right as you would read it. So 2 plus 48 is 49, is 50, sorry, and take away 1 is 49. Even if there was a takeaway first, you would follow it left to right, so you would do the takeaway before the add. Right, let's look at the next example here, where you would look for brackets, because there's brackets first. So there's a bracket, and there's a bracket. So we're going to do these bracket calculations first. So that comes to 7. You're squaring it, times by 7 take away 3, which is 4. The next thing to do is look for powers, and we can see there's a power here, so we do that before anything else. Now 7 squared is 49, and we want to multiply that by 4. So that's 160 plus 36, which is 196. That's your final answer there. Okay, to finish off this lesson, we have to put brackets around each equation to make it work, basically. So we can put the bracket here, and we could put this bracket here, for example, and that would be 5 add 4. So that wouldn't work, because you would do the 4 times 1 and add 5, so that's not going to work for us. However, if we move the brackets here, we can see that you would do the brackets first, so 5 plus 1 is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24, so that's the right answer there. In the next one, we're trying to make 12, so what we could do is we could put the bracket there, and then we could put the bracket here. Now if we do that, we do the brackets first in all cases because b is at the start of BODMAS. That would be 1 plus 3 squared, which is 9 plus 1, it's 10, and 10 take away 4 is not 12, so that doesn't work. What we do though is if we bring that in a wee bit, then this should work better. So if we have 1 plus 3 is 4, square it, you get 16, and if you take away 4 you end up with the 12 there. Okay, last one. I'm seeing if we put the bracket here and put the bracket here, and then we do the bracket first, we get 6 take away 2, and that goes to 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6.